Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be taking a look at setting up our launch control in our M1 programming. Now, our launch control can be implemented in a couple different ways, whether we're naturally aspirated, supercharged, or turbocharged. How we deal with the launch control will be a little bit different, and whether we're driven by wire or cable-driven throttle body gives us a little bit different programming in terms of the launch control, and we'll unpack that here in this training module. Now, this module is going to be really taking a look at an overview of the launch control, understanding what the parameters do, what to look for with the launch control. The next tutorial, we're going to do a live demonstration with our in-house test vehicle, running our Motec M1, and then watch setting up the launch control and being able to dig into that a little bit further, just in case things are maybe slightly unclear in this training module. So we're trying to go through everything as best as possible, getting an idea what to expect with launch control next tutorial, seeing it actually implemented in real world conditions. So first things first, let's move from our ignition tuning page here and let's go into our workbook that I provided with our training course, and let's jump down here under the motorsports option. Under motorsports, this is going to be where we find the launch control for setup and programming. What we're going to find here within our programming calibrate window, we see we have a couple different options here. What we want to do at this point is just turn on the launch control. So we're going to go here to our launch and then into mode, and then go here from not in use and actually put this to enable. Now, when we do this, we're going to find a whole bunch of different parameters here are going to be popping up that we have to program set up so that things are going to work properly with our launch control. Let's go here to save this to the ECU real quick. And let's go in here and start to talk about some of our setup and configuration. Now, before we go any further, we do find under driver launch switch and launch aim switch, these will be discussed here in a little bit. These are related. In the launch switch here, for example, this is going to act as kind of an on-off toggle switch for this to work. So we turn it on with the enable option to tell the Motec that we want launch control. The launch switch would be if we want to go ahead and being able to bypass the launch control with a switch. I don't typically use this option here. The launch aim switch, we're going to talk about how that's going to integrate. We typically use a rotary trim pot, allowing you to have different RPMs for launching your vehicle. So this will give you a dynamic adjustment of your launch control without having a laptop hooked up to the M1 to program it. All right, let's go in here and take a look at our activate options, and let's discuss what this means. So in order to turn on our launch control, a couple things are going to have to be true. We're going to have to go in and have it activated and turn our mode to enable here, and we're going to have to meet the conditions that we program down here. Now, typically with launch control, we're going to find ourselves needing a vehicle speed sensor, calibrate it and wire it and set up in the Motec. Now, we've talked about setting up our vehicle speed sensors and wheel speed sensors in a separate training module. If we go back here and kind of backtrack real quick, go to setup here and we go into our speed setup. In my configuration right now, I have a front wheel drive vehicle and I'm utilizing, and I've set this up to front. I've set up my front left wheel speed sensor as my drive speed source. So this is where my speed reading is coming from, coming into the Motec. And we'll find we have to have at least one wheel speed sensor or one speed source. It might come from your transmission speed sensor source. That would be a drive speed. You have to have at least that in order for the launch control to work. You could have all four wheel speeds. You could have all four wheel speeds plus your transmission speed. The Motec is going to be using your vehicle speed estimate channel, and the vehicle speed estimate is going to be essentially taking a look at your slowest wheel speed. So that's what it's going to reference whenever we're trying to program and dial in vehicle speed with launch control. But the idea here of utilizing vehicle speed for your launch control is that as soon as the vehicle starts to move, you want your launch control to turn off. So you have to have a speed source, and really in order to make the launch control function properly. So let's jump back in here and take a look. Let's go here to our motorsports and back into launch control. So vehicle speed is something we don't find in any of our programming windows here. We're going to integrate it in a separate area, and that's going to be found under engine speed calibrate table, and we'll talk about how to do that. But let's dig in here to some of the other parameters in order to turn on or off our launch control when we're in a stationary position. Let's say we want to launch our car. We want to be able to activate the RPM, but we have to meet conditions in order to do so. So looking here under activate, we find exhaust temperature, coolant temperature. Right now there is zeroed out. If I don't want to worry about the exhaust temperature or coolant temperature playing a role in activating my launch control, I'll set these at 0 Celsius, which is what I find I have here. So the exhaust temperature here, this is going to be the temperature have to be under in order for the launch control to activate. So if you don't want to have too high of EGTs, this would be a way that we could either enable or disable our launch control. So if we have the threshold here at something like 600, 700, 800 Celsius, and we're seeing our EGTs get hotter than that, it'll immediately turn off the launch control. So even if we're enabling it and activating it other conditions, it'll turn it off because we're not meeting this specific condition. So this is going to be having to meet all of the conditions in order for the launch control to activate. And if we drop below any of them, that means that the launch control is going to turn off. So exhaust temperature right now I have at 0 Celsius. I don't even have an EGT pyrometer set up on my vehicle or wired into my Motec, so I'm not going to utilize that. Just simply set it to 0 Celsius, it bypasses. Now the coolant temperature here, I also have it at 0 Celsius.
Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.